Everyone knows him in Sindh because of his work and because of his other contributions in the field of archaeology and heritage. He is an expert of cultural heritage और वो scholar हैं applied archaeology के और इन techniques को उन्होंने use किया है to innovate into different research works into his publications and writings. और आप सबको मालूम ही होगा कि he is one of the basic founder of many departments which are dedicated to have funds like endowment fund and other causes of the culture, and his contributions include conservation of dozens of old buildings and establishment of museums. इसके अलावा उन्होंने वो काफ़ी हाई लेवल कम्युनिटीज़ पर भी काम कर रहे होते हैं. इस पार्ट ऑफ दोज कम्युनिटीज़ इन्फ्लुएंसिंग द फिजिकल हेरिटेज ऑफ Sindh, Balochistan. He's chairman of Technical Consultative Committee for Manjudaro, chairman Management Board for Physical Heritage and Advisory Committee for Cultural Heritage, Government of Sindh. These are just a few. अगर मैं लाशारी साहब का पूरा introduction कराऊंगी तो बहुत time लग जाएगा. Well, his recent initiative is establishment of central record rooms or offices in the Government of Sindh, where he is the inspiration and architect behind the scheme. He is also consultant for the establishment of the archives and in the State Bank of Pakistan. He helped us a lot while we were establishing this archives with the State Bank. Then he served in many international forums, conferences, workshops, seminars, and he had taken research in country and abroad. So I won't be taking long. I'm going to introduce Karane ki. I'm sure all of you know him very well. So now I would like to request Dr. Lashari to please come. Conservation, Old Principal House, Karachi में, DJ College, Edward House, Varun Dev Mandir, Manora में, Rumi, Baloch Tombs, Karachi, लाखों graveyard and so many others.
Introduction. Today we'll be discussing about the mystery which surrounds the birthplace of Akbar, who is normally dubbed as the Great Moor. All of us know that the Mughals were basically having their capital in Agra, in Delhi, and they spent much of their time in Lahore as well. So once we talk about birth of a prince, there is always this thought which comes to mind that he must be born somewhere in those Darul Khulafa, Darul Sultanate. But the story is very interesting. Sher Shah Suri is one of the interrupters of Mughal dynasty line. He came in, he intervened, and he was cause of the escape of Humayun from the mainstream, and he came wandering to Punjab and Sindh. He was dethroned, not in a very legal manner, but the fate had it, and then he has to be a wandering person in search of support to get back the throne. He was promised by the Rajasthani Nawabs, Rajas, Sodas, Ranas, but none of them proved to be brave enough to offer him support because they feared Sher Shah. This was the only reason that he went from Malwa to Jodhpur to Bikaner, but was refused assistance. It was only in Umarkot that Rana Barsha was all help to him. And it was here that he found solace in the scorching heat of third desert. Now, Humayun's stay in this part of Rajasthan and then Fatehpur was extended to more than a year. During this time when he arrived, he was accompanied by his wife Hamida Banu Begum. Hamida Banu was at that time expecting her child. Now when he arrived at Umarkot, Rana sent his brother to welcome Badshah outside the town. And then he asked forgiveness of the Badshah that he could not meet in person today as it is not the auspicious moment. And he said that I will come in the morning by myself and take you in to the town. So this is what the story says. Mir Masum writes like this. Now hearing about sojourn of Humayun here in Umarkot, one of the commissioners in Sindh was really intrigued and he got very interested into the topic, and he sent across his messenger to Umarkot that he intends to visit Umarkot and he will hold darbar there. And it was arranged, and Badshah Sahab, the commissioner Sahab, went to Umarkot and he held a darbar in the expenses of the Umarkot outside the town. Bada darbar, bada khema, bada shamiana is the normal viceroys used to do. So the commissioner here, who was heading Sindh province, was like a viceroy, and all the dignitaries were there. And this canopy stands right at the spot where Commissioner Sahab held his darbar. After the proceedings, then he asked, is any elder person among you? One of the Kumars there, Umar Kumar, precisely stood up and said, I am the elder to all of these. And the Commissioner Sahab asked, do you know where Akbar was born? Umar Kumar said, in all humility, Sahib, jithe tahan bithayo, itte hi Badshah paida the. And this was the beginning of the bit. We know precisely the day, the time, the month, and the year of Akbar's birth. But the spot. Now the Commissioner Sahab ordered that the spot, very spot where his chair was, that it should be marked with a stone, so that the world should know that Akbar was born here. Later, a pavilion was erected there by local of Kheliradi, the area where these proceedings were taking place. Ashraf Shah Sahab, he built a canopy there. So this was the first stone which was laid on the place where the chair of the commissioner was put for the proceedings. And it says that this is the place where Akbar was born. And this was the canopy which was built by Ashraf Shah, and this was the inscription bilingual inscription there, which was there. This pavilion stood there for more than 100 years. So this is the inscription in Sindh which was there. And this is the board by the departments concerned that they have narrated the tale of Akbar's birth in Umarkot on this particular spot. So this is the canopy which was repaired, and then it stands there, and it is the place where normally visitors are late to go and see the birthplace of Akbar Badshah. So where is the evidence? The evidence is not contemporary. You see, this evidence is from Umar, the potter, who says that this is the very place. So in his humility, he was not telling the truth. He was not a historian. He was not a scholar. And by any dint of luck, he was not more than a normal South Asian individual who is in the habit of pleasing whosoever is the Badshah. So where from we could find the real evidence to come forward? So this is the time and date of the birth of Badshah Sahab. And the story is that when Humayun was told that he has begotten a baby child, a boy, then he had looked around. He wanted to distribute alms. He wanted to make merry. He wanted to be happy about it. He was not present in Umarkot. Second thing. Third thing, that he asked one of his prime attendant, Johar Aftabji. He just looked at him, and Aftabji brought a vessel containing of ether, mushk, fragrance, and that vessel was broken, and then Badshah put his finger on and touched every attendant's forehead. And Johar Aftabji writes that this was the beginning of the fragrance which spread to the whole world. So this is the narrative which is available within those sources. But where actually the birth took place? The question is, where the event took place? When Humayun arrived at Umarkot and he was made to stay overnight outside the town, he had to camp there. In the morning, Rana Prasad came in and then took the whole entourage of the king inside the town. The Rana ordered that these visitors, these mehman, if they are purchasing anything, they should be given every commodity at half of the price. So the whole town was opened up for Humayun and his colleagues, and this was the merriment which was happening in the town. It shows the defiance the Rana Prasad shown, the courage to stand against Sher Shah Suri. Within few days, Humayun realized that this smaller territory and this chieftaincy could not sustain the large body of his colleagues. So he has the designs to move out and offer some resistance to Shah Hassan, who was sitting in Thatta. So he asked Rana Prasad that I need to give battle to Shah Hassan and I can't wait here. And it is your sweet will if you want to come with me or stay back. Rana Prasad said that my fate is your fate. So I need to come with you. Johar Aftabji writes that we moved out of town, we placed the families in the middle of the fortress, in the mid part. Precisely, he locates that, as you know, that these fortresses which are residential palaces, and also somehow they have these credentials to be the defense mechanism as well, have three parts. So the third part was reserved for the Rana's family, and the middle portion came Humayun's family, and then these gentlemen departed to Fatehbad. And it was in Fatehbad that the news was brought in. So now there is another piece of evidence that is there against the word of Umar Kumar, which says that the family was moved into the fortress. So the present fortress which is there may have been repaired, renovated, readopted several times, because it has the features of colonial period as well. So we cannot trust that this is the same fortress, same building, standing together. It can't be. It shouldn't be. It is not the time. When we look into the history of Umarkot, they say that it is Amarkot, founded by Rana Amar Singh, and there is a very good tradition which is attached to the history of this town. And we know that for sure that it has actually changed hands from year to year, centuries to centuries. At one point of time, the Umar Sumro himself, the later Sumro ruler of the part of Sindh, was also located within these areas, and that is the roughly 14th century. Subsequently, we know that the Mian Nur Muhammad Karolo Sahab was also there, and he made extensive repairs to the fort, and he wanted to develop it as one of his residences, and he wanted to make it a defensive system. And this was the time when he purchased cannons from East India Company. He paid huge amount for that, so this is also within the records. One of his cannon has the inscription giving his name and the royal title there. So when we see the traditions of Umarkot, so they say that the Umarkot is famous for four things. One is the tiger waist ladies, and another is the Lamba Talab and the bravery and the swords. So when we ask people there, where are the Lamba Talabs? The town had been thriving on the rains which were bringing in the rainwater run, and that was accumulated outside the town. And this is the very same place where we have today the spot pointed out by Umar Kumar. So this can't be a place where a camp should be installed. I looked into the records of the water supply scheme which was brought into the town during 70s, and they had these contours of the town, and this area is completely ruled out to be a place where residence could possibly be had, because it is inundated by the rainwater and the water remains there for 9 months of the year, 10 months of the year, in conditions which are favorable there for the whole year. But if the rains are failing one year, then the canal is reduced to smaller parts, and then there are 4 parts of this depression which retain the water. This was the fort which was taken by the Tarkhans as well, and one of the famous Tarkhans, Mirza Jani Beg, was born here, born in the fort. This is the reason when Jani Beg was made prisoner, sent to the Delhi, Akbar gave him lots of respect and gave him back his Sindh, and he was also in every majlis used to say, "This is my birthday brother."
Birthplace.
So the evidence was all the time coming there, and the fort was in the Kaloda period given to the Jodhpuris. It was subsequently retrieved, and then it is with the government of Pakistan now. Now the direct evidence comes from Johar Aftabji. He used to keep his daily account. So daily diary was with him, and this is the account which is available, published, translated into various languages. It is so vivid. It gives details of each and everything. He was the person who was with the king all the time. 24 hours of the day, he was with him. So he would be failing and remembering the major events, and such a major event like installation of family within the fortress. Another chronicler was Gulbadan Begum, the king's Akbar's aunt, Humayun's sister, daughter of Baloch. Her account is very famous. It has also been translated in various languages. Another Khan Mir's account is there, who was very close to Humayun. Rather, he was in relationship with the Humayun, family relationship. His account was there. Humayunama is the Gulbadan Begum's account, which is published and available there. Another Bayezid's account is in which he is giving details of Humayun's period and also about Akbar. Mir Masoom has also given this detail of Akbar's birth in the fortress also. The later period historian Mir Ali Sher Khan has in detail written about and confirmed that the Pasha was moved into the fortress. So he was residing there when this event took place. The king Akbar asked Abul Fazl to write about his life, and then he asked the family members to assist Abul Fazl and gave them the details. So it was the basically reason that the family members were interviewed by Abul Fazl extensively. As you all know that Abul Fazl was one of the encyclopedic knowledgeable person who wrote down Ain-e-Akbari, which is very much in details, where each and every tehsil and talka and the revenue of it is written. And he has also described interesting events of the times, and he has also introduced the details about the interesting features in the buildings. So we couldn't believe that Abul Fazl could have failed in his duties to have said this. So Akbar Nama is still available for everybody to see, read and understand. Another aspect, another evidence. The Mughals took great interest in miniature paintings. And it was the Mughals who actually brought in the workshop within the royal palace. So it was actually the part of royal establishment, imperial establishment, that these miniature painters were working. And Humayun himself put an emphasis that every picture, every painting which is made should have the correct details. During this march to the Umar Court, a bird was found which Humayun had not seen before. So he asked the court painter to paint that big bird, and it is given in Aftab Ji's Roshlamja that yes, it was made efforts even during when they were escaping from Jodhpurians who were following them by putting poison into the well, and they were thirsty and they wanted to reach the place where they could have water. In such circumstances, the Badshah sat down and asked the court painter to paint that particular bird in details. So the emphasis of the Mughals on miniature painting was great. And if we look into the miniatures which are available, Akbar desired that his Akbarnama should also be having this illustration. Here is one of the miniatures showing the celebrations of Akbar's third birthday. So you can look into the architectural details, the dresses, and the activity which is surrounding the whole event, the festivity, it is all visible. When Akbar was 14 and Humayun died, so Bayram Khan was the person who put Akbar on throne, and the details are there. And as all the students of history know, that Akbar's initial period was really under the influence of the court ladies and also the tutelage of Bayram Khan. And this is one of the miniature which shows that how Maham Begum is there and Bayram Khan is there and the youth is surrounded by them. So you can see and feel the details of any event very vividly described. And here is Mahamanga's son, who was brought in, and Mahamanga tried that he should also get some place among the royal space. But this youth was not up to those standards. So he, in his fury, one day killed a person, and Akbar witnessed himself that murder. So he ordered that Adam Khan should be thrown out of the fort, and Adam Khan died. And Akbar went himself to mother of Adam Khan and described the whole event and told her that the justice has been done. Akbar going hunting. This was Humayun, and Humayun when died, his funeral activity is then depicted into this. Now, I was looking around that when every detail is there within the miniatures, every event of the particular life, Akbar's life is there. So the birth event should also have been depicted. So when you look around, you will not fail to find the birth is being painted within the miniature, and there is the fortress fully visible. There is no doubt about having the king right in the midst of the plains. So this was not the only one miniature. Another one, details, another one, and the merriment which was being made. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention.